two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going on about a film that was brought to our attention by my fiance Tammy. So, Tammy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the film that you brought to the table?
I thought you were doing the intro.
Oh,
That's what you said.
I guess she has chosen the movie Fracture. It is a film that was filmed in 2007. It was directed by Gregory Hoblit, and it stars Ryan Gosling and Anthony Hopkins. For the most part, I mean, there are some other actors and actresses in here as well. But let's see what IMDb says about the film here. An attorney intending on climbing the career ladder towards success finds an unlikely opportunity in a manipulative criminal he is trying to prosecute. So, going on first impressions, let us go.
And we go Kroll. First time, is this your first time? And what did you think?
Well, I thought that was a really great movie. Now, two movies I've seen Ryan Gosling in. I mean, he was decent in the movies. Nothing against him, but when I saw him as a lawyer, I was just didn't picture it at all. It just doesn't seem like his type of role. But he fucking knocked it out of the park. He actually showed that he has some acting ability, not just pretty face for girls, you know. Um, so some big chops to him, and of course, you say about Anthony Hopkins, guy's a genius. You know, he makes every role seem like he is that person. You know, um, if I found out he was really crazy in real life, I wouldn't be surprised. But honestly, I think he's just a really good actor. Maybe a little crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Anthony Hopkins is amazing. Oh, excuse me. I cannot remember where I seen the two cops, but I know both of them from I believe TV shows. I just can't think of where off the top of my head. Kind of bugging me. Of course, I don't know the real names, so. But I will figure it out, and I'm going to look it up.
Well, Billy Burke played Rob Noonley. He was the cop who was having the.
Oh, Billy Burke. Yeah, that name is very familiar. Yes, I definitely know I've seen him in a lot of movies. Just can't think of what I've seen him in off the top of my head, but I know I've seen him in a lot of movies.
Well, and I believe the judge who played in the first.
No, not the judge, the other cop.
Detective Flores. That was Cliff Curtis.
Hold on a second. I'm writing this down because I already looked up the other one, so I gotta look up this one. Cliff what?
Cliff Curtis.
Cliff Curtis. Thank you.
He was in movies Risen, Sunshine, The Dark Horse. He was in Avatar: The Way of Water recently.
I haven't seen that yet.
We have. He was also in Reminiscence, Doctor Sleep, The Maggot.
I might have seen him in
He was also in Fear the Walking Dead as Travis Manawa.
There we go, Travis. Travis. Yep, I knew it. Yep. Yeah, I won't say anything because you haven't seen it yet. But he's in a Walking Dead show, so you might guess.
So yeah, um, he's been a lot of shit that I can see. So
Yeah, it's Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, I've probably seen him in a few other things, but I probably recognized him from Fear the Walking Dead. Thank you. That was bugging me.
he was also in Training Day.
That was a good movie, but I don't recognize him from it.
Let's see what else.
Here's Fear the Walking Dead. We can move on.
Okay.
You know what? I do remember Billy Burke from a movie I'm not even gonna fucking mention. I'm ashamed I even seen it.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add?
Oh, I barely, yeah, I got sidetracked. Uh, yeah, I mean, okay, so, people who listen to the show know I don't root for the bad guys and all, but man, Anthony Hopkins was so clever. I mean, I didn't want him to get away with it, but his character was so interesting, and he was just so smug about everything, and so matter of fact, and I don't know, it was just, it's hard to explain. I mean,
And he kept taunting him.
what was that?
He kept taunting him.
And he was always right. He kicked their ass, I mean, he was almost committed the perfect crime, but as most people do, he made one serious mistake. And because he was happening to go up against his match in Ryan Gosling's character, it came back to haunt him. The one little mistake he made. No, I don't know if it's called a little, but the one mistake he made. Um, yeah. So it was just such a
Mm.
great character. I mean, was his wife cheating? Yes. Did she deserve to die for that? Say no. I think that's a little extreme. Divorce, yes. Shamed, yes. The cop probably deserved to, depending on if he was doing it during when he was on duty, he probably should be suspended if he was on duty. If he wasn't, then well, whatever. He shouldn't have been cheating on his wife, and he shouldn't have been sleeping with her. But whatever. I have opinions on that. I don't think it's right, but I also don't think it's should be necessarily illegal. But whatever. Not going to debate that in that here. I just yeah, it was really intense movie. Um, Unlike somebody said it was action packed, there was barely any action in the movie at all. Um, it just wasn't that kind of movie. Um, but I mean, they had a little bit. But it was a thinker. It was a really great thinker and a really action not action. I mean, just dramatic, but in a good way. Well, I say in a good way because I don't like drama per se. But this really knocks it out of the park. I definitely um you told me about it and I probably be like, whatever. Not something I'd be like, yeah, I want to go see at all. But I always watch the movies we have on here. Sometimes to my regret. But I was very happy with this pick. It was really good. One of Tammy's best, definitely. One of her best picks.
Well, thank you.
You picked some good ones. Um, I really liked the last one. Stripes was hilarious. But yeah, this one was really good, and especially for the genre that, like I said, I'm not a big fan of. It was a really good movie. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. How about you, worst?
So yeah, this was one my first time watching the movie, and I must agree with Kroll about this probably being the most exciting movie you have picked for us so far. Uh, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, also when I read what it was going to be about, I expected it to be okay, but I didn't expect to find it as thrilling as it eventually turned out to be. And yeah, of course, Anthony Hopkins' character was amazing. Like, we shouldn't be rooting for him, but it's kind of difficult not to, especially as is such an asshole. What Kroll said about the mistake that Ted Anthony's character made when he had the wife unplugged. I actually went to read some people theorizing how the second trial might have ended, and some people actually think that he might still get away with it because there was this moment when
Whoops.
I'm just gonna throw in here while we wait for him to come back that the whole movie I was like, he's gonna slip up, he's gonna get caught. Now the ending almost made me think that maybe he's gonna get away, but when he went to the house, like no, soon as he was reading, talking on the phone, and showing something to the cop, I was like, he's got something. So for like a brief moment, I wondered if he's gonna get away with it. So kind of
Well, if
let
you own the movie like I do, there was actually two alternate endings you could watch.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, I do not know.
oh, what
You know,
happens in the alternate ending?
Well, we'll get into that first. Let's get done with the.
Uh, okay, sorry, my internet connection keeps glitching. I don't even know what was the last thing you heard me say before I dropped out.
that you thought he was gonna get away with it. People thought he was gonna get away with it, and you kind of dropped out.
Yeah, I read on some forum or Reddit or somewhere, I'm not sure. Someone theorized that Anthony's character might still get away with it because Nanelli and this Willie was the prosecutor's name. There was this one moment when Nanelli offered to tamper with the evidence so that Ted could be declared guilty, and Willie eventually didn't want to use that in court, but what Nanelli wanted to do with the bullets and stuff was still done. So in that case, even if they could prove that gun was used and everything, maybe after what Nanelli did, the evidence would be pointing at him, who is already dead, rather than at Ted Crawford. So I don't know if what I read, if those people analyzed it correctly, but it's
I
an
don't think they did
interesting
it wrong
theory.
because when the gun was tampered with, the other gun was tampered with, and blah blah blah. But that was in the first case, which no one even knew about. It was never even brought to anyone's attention at all. So it's not evidence.
Hmm.
The only
Well,
person,
maybe
well,
I.
there's only two people that knew it was. There was three people. I'm sorry. Billy Buck character who killed himself, so he's dead. Ryan Gosling's character,
Yeah,
so
that was not
obviously
Nally for
he's not
however.
gonna say anything. and the guy who actually switched it saying he doesn't want to lose his job, so he's not going to say anything. So no one will actually ever know that the gun had been tampered in an attempt to frame him. No one will ever know that. So that's irrelevant to the case, to either case.
Well, yeah, it's
The
because
real gun is in evidence next to wherever they put it into for suicide for the detective, because he killed himself with the real gun that killed his girl. Well, the girl.
Yes.
So I don't agree with what they said.
well, yeah, because the gun that was supposed to be the setup gun didn't belong to any of them.
I mean, I was
No.
wondering what the hell he did with it. Like some kind of secret wall or something. Like I did not see that coming anywhere. So I was like I said, this was such a great movie. I'm pretty good at guessing things, but yeah, it
The
was
gun that the
pretty good.
cop though was going to use to set him up didn't belong to anybody. That was just a gun that he found that he was using to try and set him up. So that gun doesn't matter at all because nobody ever went and got it out of the where he
It
put it or anything.
Well, yeah, it was never fired, and yet 4 shots were fired, and there was no
No,
fingerprints.
David, you guys, no.
What?
The cop was trying to make sure that he had a case, and so when they wouldn't find the gun, he planted a gun in the shed and told the prosecutor where the gun was. Nobody ever went and got that gun. The cop didn't go and get it. The prosecutor didn't go and get it. It stayed there. That gun has nothing to do with anything.
Exactly.
Okay.
I just said that. Dave doesn't listen.
Tell me something new.
Dave doesn't listen.
That's not new. But see, I thought that that the gun that he brought inside with him was switched with the other gun, and that was why, you know, why they
What
couldn't
you're
find the gun.
saying, because you're not saying people, but the cop, Billy Burke, came in with his gun in his holster, and Anthony Hopkins switched the guns.
If you're talking about at the end, David, he didn't come in with the gun. He opened up the cabinet and took his gun out. Anthony Hopkins' gun.
Yeah, but there was a moment where Billy Burke came in as a detective, and he wanted the guns to be put down.
Listen, the gun that Anthony Hopkins had was Billy Burke's gun. His cop gun. The
Yes.
gun he had was Anthony Hopkins' real gun. He had switched them at the hotel the night before when he saw them together. He had already switched them. So when the cop came in with his gun, so the gun that had been used to kill the girl had been the cop's gun, Billy Burke's gun.
Gotcha.
But then Anthony
So,
Hopkins
so then he gave him back his gun, and so he walked out with the murder weapon and had the murder weapon with him the entire time. Which, he says the irony. I mean, again, he isn't innocent. She wasn't innocent. So, yes, they did deserve some things. But again, I think punishment didn't fit the crime. But he seemed to think it did. And he thoroughly enjoyed his trickery. And the way he did it, it was just such a delightful way to watch him, even though it's like he's such a bastard. but he just does it so good that you can't hate him for it. He's so good at being slimy that he's like Hannibal. It's like I haven't seen those movies completely, but I've seen enough of those movies to really know what the characters are like and just see like the characters like kind of like them, you know. Even though the fucking cannibalistic murderer.
Which goes to show you that Anthony Hopkins definitely can play a serial killer well.
That's how he plays all of those roles. Is he plays ones that are likable. The characters that you're not supposed to like.
And there's a lot of people who like to play the bad guy. Because sometimes playing the bad guy is so good.
Oh yeah, Mark Hamill loves it. Hey, when I played D&D, my character was lawful good, and sure, I enjoyed it. My next character was Chaotic Evil, and boy, did I enjoy it. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm more neutral good in real life. Not that I go around breaking laws, but I'll bend some, depending on the law. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% lawful, but I'm not chaotic either. But I'd say I'm good. Now, but it's fun to play chaotic evil, but, even chaotic evil, you still gotta be careful. But,
Okay. Let's see.
because it goes against how I normally am.
Well, David, you might as well. We'll go you.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I first saw this movie from when you told me about it. Actually, I honestly had it in my collection before you told me about it because I was living on Lincoln with a friend of mine who's now dead, and his girlfriend, and we, in order to kind of help us move into the place, we ended up doing some odd jobs with the landlord because evidently the landlord actually had some properties that he needed to evict some people, and he did. And afterwards, they left shit behind. So in one of the houses, I believe Fracture was one of the movies that I had actually picked up from someone's abandoned house or stuff. So
Okay. For me, I think it's just one of the ones I actually ended up buying because I had seen it. So.
but yeah, I picked it up, never watched it in my collection, and then when you told me it was a good movie, I was like, oh, I remember that one in my collection, and we watched it, and man, was it good. I remembered that it was intense, and Anthony Hopkins was what brought this movie to, if it wasn't for Anthony Hopkins, I don't think we would have had much of a movie. He is larger than life, and he is definitely wicked good at his roles. And he can be creepy with being gentle about it, or be a gentleman, and it works. He can be as nice as possible, but he's got a wicked sense of humor. You think he's some kindly old gentleman, but he's got some wheels turning behind that cold mind of his. At least the character.
Yes.
He's very good at playing calculating. But I enjoyed this movie. I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Gosling. I like him in Drive or Driver, whichever the one it was. I wasn't an entire fan of La La Land.
Of what?
La La Land. That was a movie that he was in.
Yeah, I remember the name. I just can't remember if I saw it or not.
Yeah, there was a lot of buzz about that movie, and Tammy wanted to
He was in
see it.
that movie that girls love. What is it? He played like this woman was talking about her lover, and it was like him, but she was like an old lady, and she was talking about when she was young and diary or something. I don't know.
La La Land is a musical.
Yeah, La La Land is a musical. It
Yeah,
starts off that he's like a piano dude. Let's see. You're trying to talk about one of his older movies, eh? Let's see.
I guess.
Blue Valentine, La La Land, Drive, Lars and the Real Girl. He was in The Nice Guys.
Notebook. That was the one I was talking about.
Oh, Lovey Dovey.
I said, girls love.
Okay. Yeah. But
He was in Blade Runner.
yeah, he was. He was in the second one, if I remember correctly.
2000, yeah. Blade Runner 2049, 2017.
Yep, he was also young Hercules, which had 50 episodes. It was a spin-off of Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. He's the one who played young Hercules.
Yeah, that was before you even knew who he was. I watched that show, and I never realized.
Hello.
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 No.
I think I can. Why? I don't know what's wrong. My connection on my laptop is horrible. It kept glitching and throwing me out. Now I logged in from my phone, so we will see if that works any better.
Hey, he was on one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark and one episode of Goosebumps.
Yeah, I saw that. I've never watched Goosebumps. I've seen Are You Afraid of the Dark a couple times, but yeah. Like I said, yeah, he was a good. He was good in Young Hercules. He played Yolis.
Okay.
He didn't play Hercules. He played Yolis. I
It
think.
looks like there's going to be another. It looks like he's going to be playing something in a remake of The Wolfman.
Oh, they're making it again?
They're going to.
You know, it's fucking ridiculous.
I don't know what year this is.
The first one was fucking awesome. The remake was actually even better in my opinion, which I can't believe I'm saying that because of how great, how much I love the original. What the fuck is there else to do? Like, they're trying to make a bad one? Like, what's the chances of them making another one that was bad apart? I mean, come on. Like, give it a rest.
There's not a year on it yet, so I guess we'll see.
Hopefully they'll decide to fucking do something else. Like Wolfman versus meets Dracula or something. Or something else with the Wolfman.
A remake of Wolfman versus Frankenstein.
Whatever, any of those, that stuff. Stop remaking the same fucking stuff over and over again. Especially when they fucking kicked ass, both of them.
All right. Anything else, David?
um, not that I know of. I mean, I I get a kick out of the characters. Billy Burke also likes to play bad guys. I believe Billy Burke also played like a serial killer on one of your shows, like Criminal Minds or something like that.
But in this movie, he wasn't that bad.
I was just supposed to say that. He wasn't that bad. I mean, he committed adultery. He did bad. He cheated on his wife and he slept with another man's wife, and that was bad. Like I said, and it's wrong to do stuff like that. But
Yeah, but he was still, we could say, fighting on the good side,
yeah,
in a way.
but when he fell in love with her, and yeah, whatever you say about that, he loved her, and then when he found out she was dead, he kind of lost it. That's why they attacked him, and then in the courtroom, and um, when he got off, he was just like he lost. Like his woman will not get justice, even though it wasn't his woman, but in his mind she was, and just off himself. He had already. I'm assuming he was lost his job or suspended. Like they never said, but um. he was at least suspended, I'm guessing. I don't know. But he definitely looked like a man that lost everything. So,
Yeah, although I must say there was one thing I found a little bizarre about his character. Like, he thought what was going on between Jennifer and him was serious, and he didn't even know her real name.
that's
Uh,
how things work. You can love someone without knowing their name. You don't love their name, you love them.
yeah, but how can you, if someone is unwilling to tell you their real name, how can you expect their intentions with you to be serious? It doesn't make.
It does not have any sense. There's no logic with love. You're thinking logic. Love is not logic.
Uh, yeah, that's about the only possible explanation.
The only explanation. Love is not logical. That's a proven fact, man. Why does a woman stay with a man that beats her? Okay, so sometimes it's fear, but other times it's love, even though she shouldn't love a bastard that hits her. She does. Why? Because it's irrational.
Uh, okay, that's a kind of different problem, but yeah.
But the point is, love is irrational. And I can give you more examples if you want. I could go on all night giving examples of why love is irrational. Romeo and
Mm,
Juliet, they both killed themselves over love. Irrational.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I could go on all night. I'm sure Dave could go on with a bunch, and Tammy could go on, and anybody else could go on and tell you why love is irrational. Has nothing to do with ration. That's why Spock didn't say he never loved anyone. It was irrational.
Yeah,
It was illogical.
some things are done with no explanation at all, and you can analyze it till you're blue in the face. You just won't figure out what the fuck happened. You know.
If they were only hooking up with sex, they didn't really give a shit what each other's last names were or where they lived.
Or yeah,
They only wanted this.
I mean, well, he did because he actually asked that night because his feelings were getting really strong, and maybe hers were too, but she still was like married and not wanting to tell him. But we don't know how. I mean, the way they looked at each other, you could tell like the actor and actress did a really had really good chemistry. Like they really looked like they had feelings for each other. So that was portrayed on screen that they really had feelings for each other, or at least good acting or whatever the chemistry did. So yeah, it was like I said, everybody was very good. Just like Ryan Gosling's character, his new boss. Like the second she met him, you're like she's hitting on him. Like they total high chemistry together too. And then you saw them together, and you're like
See,
not a bit surprised they were sleeping together.
I saw it as he was hitting on her.
Oh no, she was hitting on him first. She walked over there hitting on him. I am not saying he didn't hit back, but she came right over and was like, "Are you a shark?" See you circling the room. Just the way she said it was completely her way of flirting, and he totally got it. Like his character was
And she's an interesting actress too.
was
To me.
like I used to be like a girl could hit me over the head with a hammer saying I like you, and I would be like, "Oh, you like me?" Totally surprised, because I just didn't get it. Well, it's because I had a lot of insecure issues too, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, that was Rosamund Pike playing that lawyer chick.
Like a great character that you thought was caring and a nice person that turned out to be a complete bitch. Kind of a cunt, if you ask me. Sorry for saying that word to people that don't like it.
As long as it's not said to me, I don't care.
But when she's in the elevator, that why is it the company's problem when he was going to get away with murder?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I think that her actual feelings weren't that, but she said that because she was in front of the partners or whatever. But still, I was just fucked up.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely fucked up.
Like it kind of shows what the whole legal system is like. Like I mean, if being a part of the law enforcement wasn't profitable, no one would actually be doing it for the purpose of saving people's lives.
The corporate law is completely different. It has nothing to do with saving lives. Has nothing. Just has to do with saving money. Okay, that's what corporate is. So she was a corporate lawyer. Okay, so it's not her job to lawfully convict or not convict someone or anything to do with that. It's not her job. But as a human being, she should not want a murderer to kill. I mean, a person to kill their wife. You should not want. You should care if anyone is attempting to kill someone else because you're a human being. So it had nothing to do with her job, but as a human being, it made her look like a really horrible person.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, until that moment, I had the impression that Willie was an asshole, but then I realized he wasn't even the worst.
You thought he was an asshole, the lawyer?
Yes, the prosecutor.
In the beginning, I thought he was. Okay, but slowly, as he turned around, like when he said he would take the case, and then when he, I know some of that was arrogance at first when he said he would take the case, but some of it I think he really felt like he needed to nail him. And yes, arrogance did get the better part of him too. And that's who he was. He was an arrogant person. But he also, as we saw and developed, he wasn't just an arrogant person. He really did believe in the law. He really did believe in putting bad people away. Yes, he was going to go into corporate America. Yes, he was kind of selling out, but he wanted to make money. And is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. Okay, but he still wanted to nail him first. Okay, and his entire life on the line to nail him. He gave up his chance for a cushion job. He gave up possible being fired from the AI office, all to nail this guy, all to nail him. And okay, you may say part of it to get his ego back, and maybe slightly, but at that point, I don't no ego anymore.
But
Yeah,
did he do it because he really cared about justice or because he didn't want to feel like a loser?
that's what I just said, dude. I think only a tiny bit was that. Okay, because Anthony Hopkins said you're a winner and that's your weakness, and he was right at that point. And Ryan Gosling did have that weakness and couldn't see it as a weakness. Okay, at that point, but he finally did see it, and he finally put it down more. And yeah, maybe it was still a little there, because no matter how much you change, you can't completely change that fast. But he did change. He did change to some degree. The way he portrayed that character, I believe that character did change. That character did a complete 180. Now, maybe deep down he always was that good guy. And not saying he wasn't good because he was going to corporate America. Again, he was looking over his own interests, and again, that's not a bad thing. It's not bad to look over your own interests.
Uh, in a way, yeah. Although at the beginning, when Ryan Gosling's character was just introduced, and it was said that he was apparently a very successful prosecutor because he had 97% conviction rate. Like that kind of made me think how. The very concept of the job he does is a little bit morally questionable because his success is apparently not defined by how many truths he has brought to the light, but by how many people he has put behind the bars, regardless of whether they factually did commit a crime or not.
Not
That's
necessarily.
interesting you say that, because I was told I should be a lawyer when I was young. 'Cause I always argued. I was smart, and I could have probably gone that route, but I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. One, exactly because of what you just said. I wouldn't want to put an innocent person away, and I definitely wouldn't want to be on the other side and let a guilty person go. So either way, I wouldn't want to do it. I would not, and it's very hard sometimes to know if someone's guilty or innocent. And if I knew for a fact that I let a guilty person go free, I would be so guilt ridden. Likewise, if I put someone away that wasn't, and I found out later that they were not guilty, I would be guilt ridden. So that is the problem with our system, because they don't care about the truth. Nobody cares about the truth. They just care about winning.
Yeah, that's pretty much my point.
They're right. And okay, I can't say nobody, because there might be some people that do care, but the majority don't care. Just,
Yeah, but the whole concept of their jobs is organized that way that if they want to be successful, they have to care more about winning than about the truth.
Let's look at it this way: lawyers are fraternity boys.
DA voted into office, so they're a popularity. Why are they popular? Because of things they do. Oh, they get a lot of evictions. Let's re-elect them. They're in the streets, they get a lot of convictions. Nobody thinks about, well, how those were actually did the people, was it the truth that they were convicted? No, but nobody even asks. Nobody even cares.
Many of them were innocent.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe a lot of them were. Who knows? The only ones who seem to care are probably the people in jail and maybe a few other people.
And some people definitely question you if you've never lost a case. You know?
That
Yeah, that's true as well.
I'd say the only thing that he did do that I'd say, well, I wouldn't say questionable, but it's a little bit like, yeah, well, okay. Cases that he knew he would lose, he passed on. But to be fair, he took the cases. He didn't
Uh,
want to. They agreed to split cases, and so he took on more cases to get rid of the ones that he would definitely lose. So he was smart,
well,
and the other people were stupid. So he did smart trades. That's what you call a smart trade. He was smart. He was very smart. So, and he did it to help his career. Again, entirely wrong. I thought he was still kind of an asshole because but he changed his mind a lot. But he changed my mind a lot faster than you. A lot faster than you think. Anyway,
mm,
I think Tammy was saying something.
No, I was just waiting for you to get done with your debates so that David, did you have anything else to say?
Not right at this moment.
Okay, well, okay. Obviously, this is not my first time watching this movie. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it definitely is one that I like, or I wouldn't have put it in my collection. Um, I think Anthony Hopkins is phenomenal, like he usually is.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I think it's Kroll you've mentioned before. You mentioned earlier about, and I think David too, about how he just totally takes on the persona of the character that he is, and he does it just so well. You know, you really believe him. You know,
Oh, definitely.
uh, I think the supporting actors in here are really good too. Um, and I think it made for a really good storyline. I mean, it kept making you think, and then they get the cops and the investigators would get this far that all of a sudden, you know, Anthony Hopkins would throw him or something like it. He throw him off, and they'd be like, "Oh, come on," and it's like it was like they didn't realize how far. None of them realized how many steps ahead of them he really was. He had this so well planned out and so well thought out that, you know, he almost got away with it. Almost. So, well, they say there is not no there. They say there is no such thing as a perfect murder. So they say.
Oh, yeah.
This
Because
movie
see, there's
shows
always gotta
murder.
be. There's always somebody smarter. There's
Yeah.
always somebody. So, and this movie shows that.
Oh yeah. I think it definitely shows it. I guess we lost Kroll for a moment.
Oops.
And I think since you went downstairs, it's actually been working better than it was on your laptop. So I'm glad that you did.
Actually, I'm not downstairs. I'm still in the same room, but I had to I had to set my phone up so I'm not being filmed from the same perspective as usual.
Ah,
But
seems to work better on your phone.
uh,
Oh, we thought
yeah,
you were somewhere else because the background looks different.
Yeah.
That's why I hate using
uh,
this phone. It always ticks me off.
uh, yeah, like I said, ah, it's it's because it's my phone camera is not in the same position where my laptop camera usually is, so that's why I'm dealing with some really bad technical issues on my laptop. So this was apparently the only way I could stay in the conversation.
Which is fine because it's actually working. I think that better than your laptop. So
Yeah.
Way better. Yeah, that's why I use my iPhone 11 is the one I usually use. But yeah, that's the one that's dead right now. Now I said Android's better, and it is, but for some reason, for StreamYard, the iPhone's better. But you know, StreamYard has major issues. I don't. Sorry, StreamYard, but I don't like this platform or this browser, and that's the main issue with it. I have is that it's a browser and it's not an app. If it had an app, it would probably be better.
Ah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, should we get into the movie since we've had all this hour-long discussion on, and we didn't even get to the movie yet?
Very true.
So,
Squawk, squawk, squawk.
Squab.
well, not that I don't enjoy being with you guys and hanging out, but I really don't want to hang out as long as we did last week.
Uh,
Story movie.
true. True.
So, but anyway, so the movie starts out. We see Anthony Hopkins' character at work, and we see his lovely wife enjoying herself, which at the time, right at the moment, we didn't realize that was his lovely wife that was enjoying herself with another man, but we kind of got the gist of that pretty quickly. And
I knew it right away.
then we see that he is actually spying on them. And then he goes home and she shows up home and everybody's doing the little niceties, and then all of a sudden he shoots her. So what do you guys think up until that point?
I kind of saw it coming since I had read the synopsis on IMDb, so that part was to be expected. I was somewhat surprised by how coldly the guy did that. But yeah, again, that's what the movie is about. So yeah, that could be expected too. And yeah, then we saw all these shots of him cleaning the evidence away and stuff, and I wasn't exactly sure what he was doing there, but it was more or less explained later.
Okay.
So,
Anybody else have anything to say?
Yes. So I had never heard of this movie when you mentioned it. I knew absolutely nothing about this movie, so I would have gone in completely blind if someone hadn't spoiled it on Delusions of Grandeur chat, Boris, and ruined it for me to find that out. So I knew
oops,
he was going to kill her because I was told before I saw it.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had not watched it.
Yeah, I usually I watch things right before we go on now. So yeah,
Oh, Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless I say something about it, I haven't seen it yet.
I, I'm really sorry. I'll try
Okay.
not to do that
Well,
again.
yeah,
I
that's why I'm
didn't
letting
know.
you know. If I don't say anything, I haven't seen it yet. Okay. Now, I didn't know it was gonna be a gun, so I was a little surprised that he just, and I didn't know he was gonna shoot her in the head like that, or in the face, whatever. So that was a little surprising. Um, now, the one thing that gave it away that um I say that she was in love with the other guy. She definitely was not in love with him anymore. You could tell when she said, we need to seriously talk. Oh, she was just like, you're not describing your feelings.
Uh,
Like she's describing an argument that they've been having a lot,
uh,
obviously. Then she's saying she needs to talk, and he was just like, no, and then she was like, whatever, like not really caring. And he's like, I love you, and she's just like, I know. She didn't say I love
uh,
you too
I
or anything else back. So she showed that she was just married to him still in name only. She wasn't in love with him anymore. She didn't love him. She was
was
just
she ever in love with him in the first place? I got the
probably
impression that
probably
that she
was.
that
Most
she
most
married him.
most of the time when you're in love with when you marry someone, you love them unless you marry for other reasons. But
Well, regarding the age difference, I thought it was pretty much safe to assume that she married him for
no,
his
age
money.
age is just a number, dude. Many people will tell you that age is just a number. And women like
Yeah, but
women. Lots of women like older men. Tammy's an
but uh,
exception, but
but
you know,
that much older, with her
yes,
being so beautiful and him being so
I
rich.
get, I get, I get hit on girls that are younger than my daughter.
I will say that this Tammy's mom was how much younger than her husband?
21 years.
Yeah, my,
21.
Whoa!
yeah, my grandfather is 10 years older than my grandmother. I'm 15 years older than my girlfriend.
I'm 12 years older than my
Yeah, see,
fiance.
that's weird. Well, okay, it's not it's against the norm is what I'm gonna say is because it's more
Wow.
normal for the guy to be older. Not saying it's wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not saying definitely not for me. Like I don't like older women. I like younger women. But Mo likes older women.
I'm the
All his
cougar.
girlfriends are usually much older, except for his current one.
Mm,
But
I'm just
well, they say age don't matter, but I guess it does in a way that they like older. But yeah, it doesn't just like there's been times when you'd have this hot young girl married to like an old man that happened to be rich, so you're already like, yeah, she married him for the money.
oh,
But she
okay.
really did
Are gold
care for
diggers
him.
out there, but not as much as you might think.
But she
Oh,
maybe
oh,
really did care for him
uh,
and
oh,
wasn't after the money. It's just
okay. Generally, it is possible to genuinely fall in love with an older person, but in this particular case, I don't know. I mean, he was.
no, I'm pretty sure they were in love once and she just fell out of love. She sounded like a woman that was just tired of fighting with him,
Well,
exhausted with the way their relationship has gone,
well,
and didn't really care anymore.
well. If she genuinely cared about him at some point, then why didn't she eventually divorce him instead of cheating on him?
Maybe she
We
tried.
don't know
We
because
don't.
she's not perfect. She's a human being. Human beings aren't perfect. They do things that they shouldn't do.
well. I think she originally was probably in love with him, but it seems like he's a workaholic. It seems like he
Yeah,
works
which
a
is
lot,
probably
and
why she
that's
drove her away. It doesn't look like we don't know if she had a job or not, but it doesn't appear that she did. It wasn't mentioned anywhere. So she was probably one of these bored housewives that got sick of having no attention at all. So she was seeking. She wasn't seeking love. She wasn't seeking necessarily sex. She was seeking attention.
And
Oh,
because the little bit of talk that they had before he shot her, it sounded like she was willing. It sounds like she was to the point that she wanted to have the talk, which would be divorce. I think that was something that was on her mind when the discussion was coming up about that they need to talk. So, but anyway,
maybe.
anybody else got
I
anything?
I agree. I agree with
David?
that. That she did. That definitely seemed like she was ready for divorce, and that could have been part of the talk as well. So yeah.
Yep, and some men just get so obsessed over the "till death do us part" crap that they can't let go, and that's what I think happened.
Oh,
So
would you still think it's crap if there was something seriously bad going on between you and Tammy?
what well, I think we've been angry at each other enough that we've had psychotic moments that, and I think we've gone to the brink. I don't think either one of us would entirely kill each other, but
No, but
They
would
may
you?
say it though. They may say it often, but if you say it doesn't mean you mean it.
Really?
uh, Yeah, but what I was trying to say is, if you were at risk of losing Tammy, would you still feel as if "till death do us part" is crap?
I guess since she and I have never been married, it doesn't really matter. But I love her enough that I don't want to let go of things, so I will probably fight her enough to make it seem like it matters. But if she if she finally tells me
The
to
only
go,
difference between being married right now and not is a damn piece of paper. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is why I like the Wiccan ceremony. Not to get into that, but not only do they have a ceremony to get married, but they have a ceremony to be separated as well. And so, yeah, they
Well, my ceremony for being separated is there's a fucking door. Get out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Christians and everything have it completely backwards. But that's another debate.
All right, so moving on. Okay, so he shoots her. He tries to. He cleans himself up. He picks up the shell casings. The cops come. You know, they surround the house. He lets the one cop in because he knows who the cop is. But at this, you know, which we've if you're paying attention at all, you'll realize who the cop is right away too. So, but yep, the cop comes in, realizes it's her, or realizes. So then they get in a scuffle, and then
yeah, this
the
is also the first time he's actually ever been to her home, anyways,
right, she
because
did it
he looks up at the picture and right away he recognizes who she is.
right because which will be coming up later and stuff. Everybody's like, well, how could you not know? And he's
and
he had never been there. He had never been there. He had never didn't know. But
it's also uh, it's also the first time Anthony's character uses some morbid humor here. Like he says something about the pulse that it can be detected the best. I forgot at which exact point he said it is, but he said you should pull your hand up her skirt and check it out or something like that. Can't remember it word by word, but
He was saying best way to check the pulse is between the thighs and something like that. And he just put his head between
yeah,
her legs and check it out.
something like that.
The
Yeah,
carotid artery. Why don't you check right in by sticking your hand up her skirt?
yeah.
Like he has his
Right there is when he should have known that Anthony Hopkins' character knew he was cheating on his wife. Like just the way he said that, he should have, or at least suspected it. So
Oh,
later on, when he was saying he didn't know, either he's lying then, or he's just kind of stupid. But he was a cop, so who knows?
Well, he did give him
yeah.
like a look, like what, you know?
Sounds about as if he became a cop at the police academy.
So then, he gets taken in, and um, then it flips over to Ryan Gosling's character. We get to see him coming to work, and everybody talking to him, and he's finding out that he's gonna get this other job, and then he gets handed, okay, go for this today. And he didn't want to really go for this. But the other guy is like, oh, it's a slam dunk. Do confess to get the murder weapon, da 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 da. Just go to the court hearing. Okay. So he goes. But
well,
before he goes,
before that
he
even
goes to the
happens, he has a talk with his boss, and he's trying to tell him, "Hey, I think you're actually better at this job. Are you sure you really want to go and like
right.
go onwards to this? Because all they do is act like they're in a fraternity, you know." So he does have that talk before he gets that job, the murder case. So,
Okay.
sorry.
You just like totally killed my train of thought. So now you can continue.
Oops.
You were saying that he took a case.
Yeah, he took Anthony Hopkins' case.
I really kind of like how he got that job though. He told the guy that he was going to make a plea with him, so the other guy was completely unprepared and he mopped the floor with him. Hey, it's they say all fair in love and war, and that's what it is war, and the other guy was a sucker.
And to be honest, he kind of came in unprepared with this one too.
Oh, he did, and he even admitted because he was too cocky, and that's why he lost.
Well, he came in at first not prepared because he was under the impression that it was a slam dunk because there was a written and a verbal confession, and they had the murder weapon. So he thought that this was just gonna be, easy,
Well, he was told by the detective who gave him the case, "Hey, it's easy peasy, It's signed and written confession. It should be a slam dunk."
And then when Anthony Hopkins decides, oh, I want to defend myself, and I want to go to trial, and and then he tells the judge that he likes the prosecutor. It
Well,
just
I
totally
like him
everything
just right.
around.
I guess he likes you. Are you going to take the case? Eh, might as well. He was cocky, but in all fairness, he should have known. He should have known that the cop. Well, no, he didn't know that. He didn't know that the guns were going to be switched.
No, not at the moment.
But they should have thought of all areas, knowing that they were cops. They should have gone through.
Well,
every
we don't
area.
get shown that part either. You know, we know that he's up there in the room. We know that he's up in the room looking at things, watching them, checking things out. But we don't see him do the switch either. You know, nowhere along the lines do we actually see that he did the switch or that these guns are the same gun until later. Then we finally see it. We finally see it when when dude sees it and he's like, oh, when the little bell light goes on in his head about what's going on, then we get it too, But in the meantime, he's at the house, just like he's taunting him, and it is just, the way he goes about taunting him, and he'll call him, or when he went to visit him in the jail, and
Even a broken clock is.
Boris, mute.
Yes.
Mute if you're gonna type, please.
Oh, sorry.
Who the fuck is making that noise?
Yeah, I was just responding to someone, so I'm sorry about that.
It sounded like my microwave was blowing up. I thought something was wrong with my microwave. What the fuck is that noise?
Sorry.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
My dick has evidence. Excuse me? My dick. My private investigator. I call him Dick.
Oh yeah, he has so many good lines in this. It was just.
Yeah, that's why it's difficult not to like his character, even though he is technically.
My grandfather was an egg farmer. This isn't going to be about your rough childhood, is it? No, I used to candle eggs at his farm. You know what that is? You hold an egg up in the light of a candle, and you look for imperfections. The first time I did it, he told me put all the eggs that were cracked or flawed into a bucket for the bakery. And he came back an hour later, and there were 300 eggs in the bakery bucket. He asked me what the hell I was doing. I found a flaw in every single one of them. Thin places in the shell, fine hairline cracks. You look closely enough, you'll find that everything has a weak spot where it can break sooner or later. You look at the design, I've already found Boris. You're a winner, Willie. Yeah. Well, I guess the joke's on me then, isn't it? You bet your ass, old sport.
Well, yeah. Then as we get further on, and we're in the courtroom, and the judge is, when he object. The judge is where you object. I have an objection. And he's like, "Can you explain?" And he's like, "Well, in layman's terms, he fucked the victim."
What? Mm-mm. Well, you said in layman terms. I always want to say he slept with my wife.
Yeah, they weren't expecting that one.
I warned you about him. You warned me he was smart. You didn't warn me you were stupid.
That was a
Uh,
great line too.
Kroll, I think something is happening at your end. I hear myself double and everyone else too.
Yeah, we have a big echo.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, it's definitely you, man. So sign out. Sign again.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely something with his.
Yeah, seems so.
I noticed that right away. But anyways, so
Knowledge is pain. I love you, does he? Shoots his wife. If he really loved her, would he really shoot her?
I don't know.
Well, maybe he did love her to an extent, but maybe he loved his ego more.
But in any case, where are we in the story?
I think we're at the trial.
Which trial? Because there were a couple.
At the actual trial.
Okay, so at the actual trial where he actually asks like some chick to call him as if they have
Not
some
that far.
Okay, well that was the trial.
No, we're at the
You
beginning
mean
of the trial.
when
Jesus Christ, David.
Anthony was supposed to describe in non-professional terminology why the cop was not competent as a witness, or however that's actually said in English. Sorry, I forgot the exact words. And he said, "Well, fucking the victim."
Yeah, we're at the begin. We're like at the beginning of the trial, David, where they're doing
I
the witnesses.
I
Okay.
I almost
Well, you
pissed
said
myself laughing.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but what would you call it legally when the officer who arrested you was having sexual intercourse with your wife? You know, I think it's objectionable. It's rather disgusting, is what I think, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, and this is from Judge Gardner. You know what nobody understands about certain kinds of low pay public service work every now and then you get put a fucking stake in a bad guy's heart. I'm not supposed to talk about that when I visit third grade classes for career day, and it doesn't get you very far in the country club locker, but it's hard to beat when you actually get to do it. So I don't think the gun grew little gun legs and walked out of the house. It's in here somewhere. Find it.
Oh yeah, that was one of the few good lines by other characters.
Yep. Your wife, is she okay? I don't think she is. I shot her. But in any case,
That guy really had some morbid humor there.
Let us continue to talk about the trial. Tammy, why don't you tell us what happens next?
Well, they're still trying to look for the gun. He realizes he doesn't have any evidence actually against him, and he knows he doesn't have any evidence against him. And they go back to the house for a third time now, trying to find the gun. And at this point, the officer tries to make things happen and tells him when he gets home, because this is the third time that there's no gun found. And he's there when Ryan's character gets home, and he's telling him, well, I got it all set up. I can set it all up for a gun and everything. And he's got bullet casings and stuff. And he says, and he goes, no, go home. Just go home, because he doesn't want to cheat. He doesn't want to lie to win this.
Uh,
He wants to win this. He wants to win this the right way and with the right evidence. He doesn't want to, well, as they say, plant evidence. Okay, because that's wrong and it's illegal. He doesn't want to do this.
well, I still wonder if he didn't want to do it because it's wrong and illegal, or because it would make him feel as if his victory wasn't real.
I would think it would be a mixture of things. I think that it would. It. I think because when we see him go back into court and the the acquittal goes through, before the acquittal goes through, he had a chance. He had it set
Yeah,
up. He had the.
he set
He,
it up in case he decided to use it. But like you said, she knew, she must have known what was going on too, because she's like, you found the murder weapon, and he's like, I haven't decided yet. So, but of course, she didn't want. Stop doing that, Boris.
Oops, sorry.
You want to chat? Mute yourself.
Uh,
All right. What was I saying?
about the. Do you think that she knew that he was up to something, possibly? Because she asked him if he had found the murder weapon.
Yeah, yeah, and okay. Again, I don't know if it's just the way the actress played it, but the way she looked at him, she looked like she was infatuated with him. Like anything he'd ask her to do, she'd almost do, type thing. And I think he knew it, so he knew he could trust her. I don't think he really used her, but maybe a little bit in that case. Um, because obviously, um, like you said, it's illegal. For him knowing about it, he should have immediately he should have immediately said something about what was
Yeah,
done.
he should have told his
So when
companion off.
he brought her in, he put her in the same position, and she didn't even think about saying anything because she was infatuated with him, or at least that's how it looked to me. Um, on screen, the character looked like her character was fascinated with his character.
Well, he should have actually gone to dude's commanding officer. And
That's
that
what I
was,
said. He
but
should have immediately said something. But well, he probably didn't want to get the cop in more trouble, because they are kind of on the same side. But
fact,
you
but I
know,
think
he
that
then part of him realized, well, maybe it's a backup, and that's why he told her. And then he's like, yeah, I got to do it. And then he realizes, no, I can't. I just can't do it. And even if partly it was his ego telling him to do it, partly to just make sure that the guy gets nailed, he still realized he could not do it the wrong way.
that's what I was trying to say. That is, because Boris was wondering why we thought that he didn't do it, and I said, I think it was a number of things. I said, number one, he realized he knows it was wrong, and number two, he didn't want to get a conviction. by using something that was actually wrong and against the law. And
Two
number
wrongs
three,
don't make a right.
I think his ego, I think, played a little part in it too, because he wanted to win it the right way. You know.
Well, even the conviction that he was being asked about by the one chick, she even said, "Oh, nothing you did was actually illegal." You know, because every conviction that he's ever done, you know, has been legally done. Which I get it. There were cases that he probably didn't take, but as
Dave, we talked about that an hour ago.
I know that you did, I didn't,
Why didn't you talk about it then?
because you steamrolled over when I could. But anyways,
All right, all right.
we will continue. Where are we now?
So the conviction, he is not convicted; it's acquitted. So now he is a free man. I guess we should mention during all this, he has a love affair with his wife. I mean, with his boss.
Yeah, which I think is almost kind of one-sided, and uh, I think it's more of a fling with her than it is to him.
I think it's the opposite. I think that she cares about him, and he thinks it's a fling.
I think you're both wrong, and they both care about each other. Him maybe a little more than her, but she obviously didn't love her husband. Whether she loved him or not, I'm not positive, but she definitely had feelings for him, and he definitely was in love with her. That was obvious. That's why he attacked them both twice, and why he wanted to be in the room, which was the downfall in the case.
No, I'm talking about the prosecutor and having an affair with his boss. Girl.
The new boss.
Oh, those two. I think he liked her, but it was a fling, and her it was a fling.
See, I think she cared about him more than he cared about her. I think it was more of
Possibly a little bit because she did say, "Oh, I went to bat for you," and of course she was like, "I didn't ask you to." And then she walked away, but all it's true, he didn't. You know, and she
true.
was trying to help him, but she's trying to use the fact that she went to bat for him and that she's hurt because of it. And he has every right to say, "Well, I didn't ask you to do that. I made this decision on my own for me. I never asked you to go to bat for me. I never, you did that on your own. So I appreciate what you did, but you gotta live with your own consequences of what you did, whether you did it for me or not." So yeah, I agree. I don't think I think he liked her, but and it was a nice fling, and he had some little feelings for her, and I think he thought she was more of a decent person than she was, so it kind of stung a little bit what she said in the elevator.
Um. Okay.
So I think at this point we are at the a point where um, uh, they go back to trial, um, and he basically has to admit that he has no further evidence because of the gun not showing up, in, in existence, which even though they have a signed confession.
David, I just said that we are at the point where it was acquitted and he's free.
A what? Oh, okay, yeah, the acquitted, and then he was allowed to go home.
Yes. So,
which I guess then we find him at the hospital. The prosecutor.
well, he's at the hospital after the what happens in the courtroom. The officer kills himself because
That's right.
because of the outcome. And he goes, and the prosecutor goes back to the hospital, and because I don't think he knows what to do anymore because the trial's over, dude's acquitted, and he knows that he did it, you know? So I don't know if he thought by some miracle she was going to wake up or what.
But then Anthony Hopkins says something to him about being the one to pull the plug whenever he wants to.
He said, be nice to me. Why? Because she's hooked up to this machine that's on this plug, and I can pull that plug anytime I want to. With a few more words, but that was very close.
Right.
Yeah, like since he is the husband, he probably was the only one who could make that decision. Although, speaking of which, I felt it was a bit of a plot hole that we didn't hear a single word about her having any family. If she, I don't know, if she no longer had parents, they should have said her parents are dead, but there was just not a single word about whether she had anyone aside from her husband or not.
It wouldn't have mattered as far as pulling the plug. When you're married, your significant other is the one that chooses. That's it.
Depending upon your.
Unless he had been convicted for attempted murder, and then it would have gone to parents or somebody else, or the state or whoever. But yeah, as long as he's not tried to murder her, he would be the one in charge.
Yeah.
See, there's more to the whole dad giving away the daughter thing. Like literally, he's giving away the rights as a father in a way, not all the rights, but some rights, and vice versa. Even though you don't give away the groom, but still, he passes all the like I'm no longer the provider of my daughter. You're now the provider. Is the way it's supposed to work. The way it works there. I mean, nowadays it could be goes both ways, but they still don't have a guy doesn't get given away, even though if technically they did it right, both would be given away, and but that's more what it stands for, not just symbolically.
Yeah, makes
sense. Back in the
sense.
old days when women didn't work at all and only the husbands worked and took care of the wives, that's how it worked. That's why, the guy had to ask the father to permission to marry the daughter, or even permission to court the daughter, as in date and stuff. It was all went through the father. And at some point, sometimes it would go to the father, and the girl wasn't even involved in it and had no say in it. Like the father could set up the arrangement. That's a different story.
Because men think that their children are their property, at least until they're a certain age.
Yeah.
And of course, back then, saying he believed in sex before marriage and blah blah blah. Of course, I'm pretty sure there was plenty of sex before marriage, but it just wasn't talked about.
Uh,
But yeah, it doesn't exactly go over well. And then I think there was something that made him want to go get an order from a judge.
Right, he was trying to be able to stop him from pulling the plug because he hadn't given up on the case yet, and he didn't want him to pull the plug on her to die. So
And I think after that is when his older boss came over to him and helped him with a few things, and was talk because I think from the get go he said, if you really want to, we could put someone else on the case. Before that happened.
Yeah, like I said, he had bet his job, he bet his new job, his former job, he bet everything on winning because he believed he needed to. Like I said, it was partial ego, but it was partially he wanted to nail him. Just like the judge said to him, you can, the one thing about being a prosecutor and working for the city for low money is knowing you nail the bad guy. You can't replace that feeling. No amount of money you make is going to replace that feeling. The judge knew that he wanted to nail the guy, not just for his own ego, but because the guy was fucking guilty and he wanted to nail him. And of course, he was being taunted too. On top of that, but still, he really wanted to nail him, and you can't blame him. Anthony Hopkins was brilliant, absolutely brilliant as usual. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so I believe that's when he does pull the plug, and then of course he gets told by his boss that even though he was trying to get he was going to go get a restraining order. He actually gets told that he's had a restraining order put on him. He went and got a restraining order because he was in the hospital. So that was like the first thing that he must have done, which is contact someone to.
He got a restraining order against me.
Right?
That's what he said. That's what Ryan Gosling said.
Yeah.
And I guess ultimately it comes down to a phone call shortly thereafterwards because he gets a phone call from Crawford, and which is Anthony Hopkins' character, Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
That was his name?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
Ted Crawford.
Ted Crawford, yep.
Check out the big brains on Boris.
Sometimes I forget some details. Sometimes I randomly memorize them. I don't even know myself.
Same here, dude. Especially names. Names are like, sometimes I'm like, I can't think of people's names for anything. Other times I'm correcting other people on the names. So I don't know. I'm
But
pretty good with details, but if I pay attention to the movie enough,
he gets a phone call which invites him over to. Well, I think he kind of invites himself over because at the end of the day he's kind of like, well, how are we going to resolve this? You know. So the next moment we see Ryan Gosling's character um, coming
but
coming into the place, and they have this conversation.
Oh, that.
He's getting ready to evidently leave, and I can see that Ryan Gosling has, or his character has a gun.
Uh, yeah, uh, I must say, until that moment, it was kind of like a morbid humor character to me. But at that point, during that confrontation, that was when I started to get some horror vibes from him.
But yeah, basically, he. These are the words that. These are the words that apparently he said. Nicely done, Willie. Truly a regular chain of evidence. Great stuff. Vivid, heartbreaking. The victim cries out from beyond the grave. Yeah, jurors love all that sort of crap, don't they? I bet you don't even need a confession, do you? I tell you what, though, old sport, let's make you a plea just in case. The real deal, all the juicy details. You can get your rocks off on that, can't you? Huh? I shot my wife in the face right there. She didn't look so pretty after that. And I stood there
Oh,
looking down at her, and I watched her eyes go all empty. I could smell the blood and the shit. It smelled like metal. And the look on
see,
his
that's the
face.
thing though. She didn't die. She went into like a coma, right? So why does she still shit herself? Because it's like when you die, you automatically shit yourself and piss yourself and stuff. So if she didn't actually die, why did that happen? Was that a plot
uh,
hole, or does that happen if you go into a coma too?
Well, he thought that she would actually die.
Right, but he did say he smelled the shit. So was he just lying, or did he smell shit? And was that a plot hole, or does that actually happen? I don't know. I'm just curious because I remember hearing about that in another show,
uh,
and
well,
so now I'm
maybe.
curious.
I think in his mind he actually really thought that he had killed her at one point.
Yeah, maybe.
But I also think that the way that he's describing it actually sounds more grisly. So
Uh, yeah. Well, I think he decided. Some people said that he decided to pull the plug because he wanted her to be dead because she cheated on him. But actually, I'm not sure if it was that or more the fear that if she woke up, she might say who did it to her.
well,
Guys are totally missing a big thing right now. Why is the prosecutor there? We totally skipped over that, and I keep trying to tell you, why is he there?
why is he
That
there?
was
He's
Before
been
that was
asked.
Dave's team rolling.
Because he was asked to come there.
No, he wasn't.
no,
Well,
he wasn't.
No, he
He
wasn't.
figured it
He
out.
Anthony Hopkins called him on the phone at the police station, and the cop accidentally had his phone, answered it, and said, "Oh, it's for you. It's you got your."
Yes, he put down the phone, and the two phones were exactly the same, and that made him sit there and look. And he had the books open, and he saw, ding, ding, ding. The guns are the same guns. and that's when it hit him as to what happened. That the gun that the officer used to kill himself and Anthony Hopkins' gun were the same gun. So then it all came to light. He sat there. He realized why he was at the hotel room earlier in the day, um, and everything. He put it all together, and that's why he ended up going over to Crawford's house because he figured out how he got away with it.
Yep.
And then that's when they had a big confrontation, and he says that nice little line that David was reading.
But I thought that he was also invited to the house, because otherwise how
He
would
called
he?
to tell him that he had a present for him, and he didn't know where to send it.
Gotcha. So he decided to show up at his house while he was packing, and that's
Uh,
Right.
oh yeah, I didn't fully understand what was the present to begin with.
That was that contraption that was on the table that he had made.
Oh, he was going to give it to him.
That smaller one, not the big one, the small one that was on the table, which was still a big one, but it wasn't as big as that huge one.
Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
That was
yeah,
Were you hearing me before?
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I've been talking, but I felt like no one was hearing me. Um, yeah, he was giving him that to to needle on him because he was like, oh, I was gonna send it to the lawyers, whatever their names were, but but you're not there, and then he's like, oh, and I would have sent it to the DA's office, but not there, and they didn't know where to forward it to, so he was just like fucking with him again. I mean, he really did have a gift he was going to give him, I guess, supposedly, or at least he said he did. But he was doing it to fuck with him again, like he had been the whole time. All he did the entire time was fuck with him. He was mind fucking him the whole time. But
When he
he
was talk when he was talking to him on the phone, he was looking right at that thing that he had made on the coffee table and like looking at it and
oh, did he?
everything. So that's where you got the idea. This is what the gift is.
I missed that
That
part, but makes sense.
yeah.
I do love another line too. There was so many great lines. Anthony Hopkins had most of them, but not all of them. This one was Anthony though. Is um when he pulled Ryan Gosling pulled the gun out, and he's like generally people just say no thank you when they don't want to give given, because he pulled the gun when he saw the gift. Obviously that's not why he pulled out the gun, but it was just really funny the way he said it. And then cool as a cucumber, he's just like, it takes a special kind of person to look someone in the eyes, pull the trigger, and shoot him in the head. It's just see his killing his wife was not a crime of passion in the slightest. He had no remorse. He had said he loved her, but he didn't show that he ever loved her at all. It was all about she was like his possession, and she cheated on him, and she needed to be taught a lesson not to cheat on him. That's the way that kind of crime felt like. Because there was no emotion, there was no remorse, no anything. He didn't even seem upset that she was cheating on him. Just that she was supposed to be his, and she was with another woman. That's it. Like it was just matter of fact, logical, no emotion at all. Anywhere. The whole thing was logical and not like a typical
It was
lover
it was
murders a lover type situation.
it was mechanical, you know,
Exactly. So
almost
it's logical,
a, a
mechanical,
robotic movement of okay, she's
and
now cheated
brilliant.
on me. Logically, she should die.
Yep. I mean, he did show a little emotion on the fact that she was dead and got what she deserved, and the cop was dead and got what he deserved. As far as he thought they got what they deserved, and he won, and that's what he showed emotion about. The fact that he won, not that his wife cheated on him, not that he killed her, not that the cop died or anything else, just that he won. That's what he showed a little emotion about.
So, anyways, after that, he says that nice little line to him and stuff. Um, he, in turn, tells him, well, he tells him he figured it all out, and then Crawford, Anthony, thinks that he's still gotten away with it. That's why he says everything like he did. And he said, "Yeah, but when you were tried, it was for attempted. Now that she's dead, it's a whole nother case. There's all new evidence. It's a whole new trial." So, and then you see him go outside, and the police are there to arrest him. Now, I don't know if you want me to tell you now or if you have a few more things to say about this ending. I my DVD had two alternate endings.
I
So,
uh
Ooh.
I know this is shock, but I want to say something else. I just think I just figured out something. Um, Anthony Hopkins' character has the same flaw that he said the other guy had. That he was a winner. He had the same flaw. That's why he fucked up. That's why he got taken down. He believes he won. He was a winner. He had the same condition.
Believe that he got away with it.
Yeah, he
Uh,
won.
y-
He won. He acted like he won. The whole time he knew he was going to win the case. The whole time he knew he was going to be the winner. The whole time he knew that Ryan Gosling's fact that he thought he was the winner was going to be his downfall because he knew he was going to be the winner. But what he didn't see was he had the same exact flaw.
uh, yeah, that's kind of true. Although even at the second trial, Ted still had that smirk on his face, like he was.
Because he still believes he's a winner. He still believes that he was going to find a way to get out of this one too.
which we never don't
Yeah.
see what
I do
happens
like
on
the
that.
words that he said after he put the gun away. The fact that you know he found everything thing out. We found the bullet. We found the gun, and that means uh, new trial, and you're going away for life. You know, and he made sure that he dug those words in because I think he went in there uh, with a wire. You know, I think he did
Possibly.
because when he walked out of there were the cops sitting there waiting for to take his ass.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew they were all going. I thought they were going to be there when he opened the door.
But
I mean, they were there. We just didn't see them.
yeah, so here we are at the end of everything. What did y'all think about production? Uh,
Well,
Who or
so
what do
the
you?
other two endings were basically similar to each other. The differences was, he figured it out. He went to confront him. They had their little talk back and forth, and he made um he made Anthony Hopkins think that there was that the bullets that were still in the gun were meaningful for something. He made him think that those were still um that those were needed, and that they had that those in the gun um that he had still had his fingerprints on them, and that those shells were going to be worth something at the next trial. So, um, as Ryan's character goes to leave, that humongous contraption that Anthony Hopkins had there, well, the whatever, the ball going through the humongous one. He Ryan's character drops the gun down in there, and you see Crawford go crazy. He totally completely destroys this whole fucking thing just to get to the gun. And then when he gets to the gun, he gets all the shells out, and rubs his fingerprints off of it, and he's standing there like ha ha ha, and Ryan turns around and said, "Oh well, no, the other gun is already at the lab, and so are the shells."
Mhm. Okay.
So, and both of the alternate endings basically are go that way. So it's just a different take on um what what they say with the gun. It's not really much different because yes, he destroys this whole contraption and goes nuts and everything, but it's still the ending thing that the cops come, arrest them, and it shows you go into the trial. But it's
I
just
like the original better because he was just always calm, cool, and collected. Even when he got nailed again, it was just I don't know. I like that better.
yeah, he really flies off the handle with these other endings. I
That
mean,
doesn't
he just
seem like
goes crazy.
his character.
So
No reaction seems like a better solution. Yeah.
no, I think I like the original ending better too because I watched those, and I think I like the original too because I like what Kroll said. You know, it's he stays smooth, steady, all the way through, and then to have an ending where he like totally loses it, it just is out of character. I agree. So I like the original better than those alternates.
Okay.
So I
So,
guess we're to production.
yep.
Any
Mm,
thoughts, peoples?
How about you, Grohl? What did you think
uh-oh.
of production?
Well, I
Oh,
guess I'll start. I thought it was good. I mean, this is not the type of movie where you have like um, computer stuff and everything. And you know what I mean. This is a matter of fact, down to earth. This is a happening movie. This isn't where you have to have all these special effects or anything like that, because it is, I guess you would call it a drama or a thriller. So you
it's
don't
kind of
have to
like a
have
who
all
done it.
that. Right. You don't have
Uh,
to have all this crap in it. It is for real because it is for real. Kind of. So I thought the
uh,
production was really good. I mean, I think they kept your attention. They kept you guessing. There was some humor in it. There was, definitely a darkness to it in a way, and yeah, I thought it basically brought everything because it was definitely a movie that shows you don't need all this fancy dancy crap to make a good movie. Didn't
uh,
need anything special. So next.
Okay. Why don't you go?
yeah, I also thought the production was pretty good. Yeah, as you say, Tammy, since the movie is set in a world where nothing supernatural or sci-fi exists or anything like that, it didn't require any big special effects or CGI or things like that. But I will say I really liked the aesthetics of that thing at Ted Crawford's place. Again, I can't remember what it's called. That thing he had with those small glass balls rolling around. I don't know what it's called in English. Actually, I wouldn't know what to call that thing in Croatian either.
Okay. Is that pretty much it then?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Tabby disappeared
I
too.
see that. Yeah. So I'm the dead wife, by the way. I'm just kidding. Well, the production I actually thought was pretty darn good.
Yeah, of course, not to interrupt, David. I don't know what those contraptions he had in this house either. They looked kind of cool and they look kind of neat, but I have no idea what you want to call them. But
What did you say? Contraptions.
well,
Contraption.
that's all I could think of as to call them. What do you call them, David?
Uh, Singamajig?
Oh, oh yeah, it is something like that. Apparently, I wasn't really familiar with that word.
Contraption in picture movie. What is called? Okay, so a rolling ball information. Okay, so large rolling ball sculpture was featured in the movie Fracture, starring Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling. The rolling ball sculpture, approximately 6 feet high by 6 feet wide, was built with shiny metallic tracks and carved wooden wheels. I guess it's a rolling ball sculpture.
Okay. I like contraption better.
You would, but
All right.
it,
What'd you think? What'd you
device would be a nice word for it.
whatever? What'd you think about production?
You, Dave, I think. Oh, oh wait, did you already answer it?
No, he didn't.
Um, no.
Oh,
So I thought that this was a really well thought out, who done it kind of a mystery. I thought the production was pretty damn sweet. I mean, you had Ryan Gosling pulling his acting chops, and you had the master of acting, I think, Anthony Hopkins, in any role that he's brought to the table. I think he's brought, his A game for the most part. He really made you think that he was a cold, calculated killer, and the way that he was taunting everyone made you think that he was going to get away with it all.
Yeah, and if you, it can also kind of make you wonder if he is that clever at that age. What kind of shit was he doing when he was younger and no one even knew?
Having a nice can of Chianti.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said having a nice can of Chianti.
Sorry, I don't understand that word.
Have you ever seen Silence of the Lambs?
Not yet, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I haven't either.
Oh, you haven't
What?
either?
I just said that earlier. You weren't listening. I said I know the character, but I have not seen either of the movies.
Yeah,
I saw
same here.
I saw Pot of Red Dragon, but
Red
Yeah,
Dragon doesn't count.
Red Dragon's the prequel.
You guys have not seen Silence of the Lambs, David.
Well, first off, if we go down that line, we have to have you guys check out Maneater, because that was the first Red Dragon before they decided to fuck it up with Edward Norton's shit.
No, we should be doing the first movie, which is Silence of the Lambs.
No, the first movie was Maneater. Then it was Silence.
First movie was Silence of the Lambs.
The first one is Maneater.
Never even heard of that movie.
It is the first time you see Hannibal Lecter.
I didn't either, but David proved to me that it is actually the first one.
And you actually looked it up that it came out before Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
Yes.
Who?
I'm not interested in the other movie.
You're not interested in Maneater?
No.
Come on, it's not gonna eat you.
I've been curious about Silence of the Lambs. I just never watched it.
At least I'm not the only one.
I guess we'll have to remedy that, because it is a movie that I enjoy watching, and I know David does too. So
I think you guys.
I don't think there'd be a problem with us doing that.
Most big horror fans are like, "What? You haven't seen that?"
Yeah, because okay, I don't really mind slashers, but when I pick horror movies myself, I'm more drawn to some other concepts like technology acting paranormal, or demons, and religious horror, or scary
Well, I hate to
children.
burst
Like
your guys' bubble. Silence of the Lambs is not really a slasher movie.
Yeah,
Actually,
Silence of the Lambs is not a slasher at all.
it was Manhunter, not Maneater. But still, Manhunter was the first.
I thought it was Manhunter, and I was going to say something, but I figured you knew what you were.
Manhunter, which was a film from 1986, and William Peterson.
How come no one knows about it?
I'm not the only one. We've done it on the channel before, like 5 years ago.
I'm not saying you're the only one. I'm saying the majority of the people don't have a fucking clue about it. So
I didn't know about Manhunter either.
that's what I'm saying.
That I liked
and you're not alone. And Silence of the Lambs is a classic movie.
And I have the other ones.
And Hannibal's a classic movie. Red Dragon may not be classic, but people know it.
Right, and see, I had Silence of the Lambs, The Red
And
Dragon,
then
and Hannibal.
there's a TV show too, which I think that was
Well,
called
And
yeah,
I
Hannibal.
Hannibal, the TV show, was actually pretty fucking good.
and then David
But
told me, well, you don't
or
have
Man
all of them.
Eater or Manhunter, this is the first time I've ever heard it, any whiff of it.
Well, David told me when I said, "Oh, I got all of them," he said, "No, you don't, because you don't have Manhunter." So,
Yep, there was Manhunter, and then of course there was also Hannibal Rising, as well as Hannibal.
Oh, I remember Hannibal Riser. I said Hannibal. Yeah, I now remember Hannibal Riser as well. I haven't, like I said, I haven't not seen that either. I didn't see all of Red Dragon. I only see part of it, so you know. Um, yeah, just never got into the cannibal. Although the character of Hannibal Lecter is definitely interesting. You know, he's such a just the way he portrays these characters. I mean, like I said, I've seen scenes, so I know the character and I know what it entails. And it's gonna be like this movie where it's gonna be like you kind of like him, but you don't. I mean, it's just like he's just one of those people that
it's
you,
good. That's
you like his mind and the way his mind thinks in a way. At least I do, because I'm a thinker. But he's still a son of a bitch.
well, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it because you guys really should. If you, as much as you both
And I
said
wish that they would
that
have
you
gone
like him,
further
excuse
on.
me. As
Yes,
much as you both said that you like Anthony Hopkins, I think that you'll really, really impressed with him in Silence of the Lambs. So
And don't forget
Mm,
Jodie Foster's really good
possibly.
too. Jodie
If you
Foster.
want to pick that one next, I don't mind.
Nope. Next is mine.
No, I mean when it's Tammy's turn next time.
well, I'll keep it in
well,
mind.
Kroll, what did you think of the production?
Oh, you guys didn't hear me?
I heard you.
Oh, okay. Then I guess then we will go into.
I got kicked, so I didn't know if you guys heard me or not. So, I mean, as far as production, I didn't really have much to say. I mean, I had already talked about the actors and actresses, and I was going to mention a little more about that when we did favorites and stuff. But
We didn't do favorites yet.
I
Nope,
know
we didn't do.
I wasn't gone that long.
I think did we talk about music?
No,
I didn't think it really had a soundtrack.
Uh,
that's good.
Again, what music?
I think we should just go to favorites.
Okay.
Kroll, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. Huh? No. What do you know? First time for everything. Dave was right.
You were
Uh,
trying to see. You were trying to prove me wrong.
Isn't that my job? It's what I usually do.
I'm not wrong.
Except this time you were right. So
I'm always right.
Yeah. Okay. As I was going to say, yeah. Okay, so I just want to say that my favorite character is Anthony Hopkins' character. I mean, as I said, I don't go for the bad guys. I've even said you guys have issues when you root for the bad guys. But I like thinkers, like Brain and Animaniacs, it's just, you know, um, it's just my thing, I really like thinkers, and this is such a thinker movie, and he is such a thing. Now, the lawyer, Ryan Gosling's character, was too. So I like him too. Again, at the beginning, I just thought he was a typical asshole lawyer. He turned out he wasn't. I ended up liking him more and more as the movie got in. We got to know him more and how smart he was, and he did finally take him down. So I really liked that. But that being said, is their acting was awesome, but everybody's acting, supporting every supporting actors were good was good in that. Everybody. I think the receptionist. I mean, just unless she was really infatuated with Ryan Gosling, she looked infatuated with him. She just it just added to the story perfectly. So I don't know if that was acting or she really was infatuated with him or what, but kudos to her. Um, and kudos to the wife. She did an awesome job. Um, the cops were great. Like the judge, the boss, the the girlfriend or fuck buddy, whatever you want to call her. The other judge and the friend or whoever he was when they had a meal with them. Like everybody did, and he's a good actor. He's been in a lot of stuff too. Um, Everybody did a great job acting in the movie. So I just wanted to point that out. As far as favorite scenes, oh my god, there is. I am usually easy to pick up my favorite scenes, but literally, there's so many. I mean, it's not an action movie, so you kind of got to go by what they say, the quotes and stuff. And there's so fucking many of them. Like Dave was reading off a lot of them, and they're all so great. And one I think you missed, or I missed you saying it, was when the cop said to Ryan Gosling, "Fuck you," and he said, you've already done that, you know, because you already fucked the case for him." And I thought that line was just fucking awesome. It was, So Anthony Hopkins didn't get all the lines. He got most of them. Ryan Gosling got a few in. Um, so yeah, it's so hard to say. I mean, uh, you know, um, I think when he yelled out in court, he fucked her. Layman's terms, and he said you fucked her, and then he said, oh, you wanted to know in layman's terms, and then now I'm just thinking, okay, he's acting like he doesn't know the code, but why do I have a feeling he does? Like I don't know, it seemed like it was an act, and it was an act, so he could say it in a shocking way so that everybody knew exactly. Like he just said codes. Those jurors, the people sitting there, I ain't gonna fucking know what he's talking about because we don't know codes. We don't know codes. We don't know technical shit. You know. But when you say he fucked her, everybody knows that. So he did it for shock, and he did perfectly. As he did everything, with the one exception later on. He did perfectly. Cold and calculated, machine like Dave said. Which just love that character, love that guy character. I don't know why, I just do. Um, Except when it actually is a machine, I guess. Um, because in a machine, I feel more bad for them because they don't know better. Whereas a human knows better and chooses not to adhere to it. But anyways, um, so that's got to be one of my favorite scenes. And when Ryan Gosling explained to him exactly what happened, and then and Anthony Hopkins like he's basically right, and I shot her, and saying going off on yes I killed her, here's my other confession, blah blah blah, I won't do you any good, haha I won. I mean he didn't say that, but That's what he said in his brain. And then he walks out, he looks out and cops there arrest him and still had that smile on his face. He still was that cool, collected fucking guy. He still didn't show like, oh fuck, I'm screwed. Which I just liked. I love that his acting so fucking top notch. I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs and the Hannibal and stuff, but as of right now, this is my favorite Anthony Hopkins movie. I don't know if that will change, but as of right now, this is my favorite movie. He is such a great fucking murderer
How
and
many
cold-blooded killer.
how many Anthony Hopkins movies have you seen?
I couldn't tell you in numbers, but I know I've seen a lot. Forrest?
Sorry, it's my turn. Uh,
No,
so,
I meant you're typing.
oh,
I am done, but I don't know whose turn it is. I just want to tell you you're typing.
sorry.
But you can go ahead.
We are apparently ridden with technical issues today. So, my favorite character is also Ted, or Anthony Hopkins' character. I I generally have a thing for characters who are clever and smart and creative, regardless whether they're heroes or villains. I usually like those. And on top of that, he really had some great dark humor here. So that was definitely
Fuck
a
yeah,
plus. Sorry, what?
Fuck yeah, he did.
Yeah. And and also since Ryan Gosling's character was so arrogant and full of himself and all that, which I mentioned earlier, that was another reason why it was difficult for me not to root for Anthony Hopkins' character. And my favorite scene would probably be the one at the trial when Ted said "fucking the victim." I was like, "Holy shit! I cannot believe he just said that in front of all
That's a
those
great
people."
line. That's a great line.
Yeah, yeah. And then when this cop attacked him physically and had to be taken away, it
Again,
was sorry, what again?
I said again, he attacked him again.
Yeah. So that's probably my favorite scene, although a close second would probably be the final confrontation when Ryan Gosling visited him at his place and when they had their final talk. That was like when my suspense was at its peak, when I literally thought they might kill each other or something.
I didn't even think that. But yeah, we had the same favorite scenes. What do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, David?
Well, my favorite character is definitely Ted. I I really liked Anthony Hopkins in this role, but I can't tell you that this is my favorite because I have many favorites of him. Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal being amongst them. I'm trying to think of my favorite scene because I really do like the scene where Gosling's character basically like figures everything out and it comes over and basically tells him, okay, he's been found out, and just the fact that it's like a dig for a dig, he tries to dig at him. He could have actually pulled the gun out on him and shot him, like right then and there. But he puts the gun away and literally tears him a new asshole by telling him what he said. And then he walks out, and the look on his face when the cops are coming towards him is priceless. So, but that part is cool. But I do like the part where, you know, Anthony Hopkins is talking to Ryan Gosling's character, and he's in the hospital, and he says point blank, "Hey, I'm the dude who can pull the plug on my wife. You better be nice to me," you know. So, and it's just these little things here and there. Like, he's ahead of the game. Like, he knows exactly who Ryan Gosling's character is the case that he's wrestling with. You know, how the fuck does he know that shit? You know, evidently he's his character is very smart and does his homework. You know, so. But yeah, that's and the part where the detective shows up and you know, that one's pretty good too. You know, when he realizes his wife is who the wife is and all that jazz, and there's just so many moments. You know, it's hard to pick just one. But what about you, dear?
Okay, we'll see. My favorite character is Anthony Hopkins' character. Just for so many of the reasons, basically all the reasons everybody else has suggested.
Yeah, you guys are all sick. I can believe it.
Um,
Huh? That we like Ted?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's just surprised that I like Ted because, you know, I like bad guys. But, you know.
hey, one of the reasons I like this movie is because of Anthony Hopkins. So,
He's fucking phenomenal.
as far as a
Ryan
favorite,
Gosling kicked ass too.
it's kind of hard to, like you guys said, to pick a favorite scene. I guess I like all of his little, you know, things that he comes up with, his little sayings throughout the thing. It just, you
His
know,
quips.
they're
All his
just so
quips.
good. Yes. So I guess my favorite one would be the courtroom when he says, "I object." Well, I don't know exactly how to say it. We'll put it in layman's terms. Well, I object because the witness was fucking the victim.
Yeah, yeah, that was
That's a great
brilliant.
fucking line.
So I guess that one would end up being my favorite one, you know. And then because the judge is like, "What?" He's like, he goes, "Well, what do you call it when you know?"
Yeah, and then he did know how to word it more politely.
So
Like, yeah, then he could use the term sexual intercourse, but the first time he just had to say fucking.
Well, he did it on purpose for the shock value. It was perfect.
Yep.
It was perfect use right there.
Yep.
Totally did it on calculating and perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
all
That was
right.
pretty good.
Anybody else have any more comments about the movie?
Oh,
Otherwise, I think we'll be wrapping this up.
yeah, I think I don't have anything to add.
I don't know, Diego. Do you have anything else to add?
You have a growth on you. David.
Uh,
You have
There's
anything
my
else?
boy.
Do you have
There's
anything
my
else?
boy.
oh, meow.
Do you have anything?
Diego.
Ah.
What did you
There's
think
my
of the
boy.
character?
Miss you, my boy.
Ah.
But anyways, I think that's pretty much it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming along for our discussion on Fracture. And I guess next week is Kroll's pick. Kroll, have you chosen what you want to talk about yet?
Give me a minute.
Okay. Well, let
Talk
us know
about something else real quick.
let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion, and we'll definitely bring something more to the table. I know I had a fun time discussing this movie. I'm glad that we all liked it. It's another one that I think we can all say that we all really liked,
Yes.
which isn't often that we agree
True.
or are impressed with a set movie, even though it's not your normal go-to taste. But I know I'm after Kroll. I know what I want to talk about. So already after Kroll, I think I want to do the movie Feliday.
A what?
What?
It's called Feliday. It's an animated feature.
How do you spell that?
Feliday. FELIDAE, I believe.
Oh, 1994.
I think so. Let me check. Feliday. Yep, 1994. It's a German animation, but it's dubbed. So I know on YouTube it's dubbed, and it's about cats.
Interesting.
What did Diego pick that one?
No. Listen to this. A cat must investigate brutal murders of other cats in the neighborhood he has moved into with his owner.
Jeez.
And it was banned in several countries.
Oh, okay, that should be interesting.
Hey, Boris,
Yes.
right or left?
Right or left? What?
Just tell me right or left.
Choose one.
Okay, left.
Left. Okay, we're watching Bewitched next week.
Which one?
Bewitched.
Bewitched.
The movie Bewitched?
The Will Ferrell movie. Yes, fuck you for the movie last week.
From 2005.
I'm sorry?
Is it from 2005?
There was only one Bewitched movie.
Right?
Okay.
The other Bewitched was TV shows.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which I loved, and the movie isn't bad.
Ooh, fair enough.
I couldn't decide that one or a movie I'd never seen before, so I let you decide. I said if you chose right, it'd be the In the House, and if you chose left, it would be Bewitched.
Bye, Diego.
Bye, Diego.
Now we gotta wiggle our nose. And we'll see you next week, folks.
All right.
Okay, see you.
say good night or good afternoon, everyone.